Hello, my good people. Eric here. I'm back with another review. Just to preface, I've been trying to mess with this audio microphone. I hope it sounds a little louder so you can turn your volume down. What a giant pain for someone who is technologically inept. What a pain. I'm hopefully it's decent enough. Anyways, back to the review. I'm going to review, I guess, Artificial Condition, Martha Wells' second book in the Murderbot Diaries. First impression, I love it. I love this book series. I already want another 30 books. Are you kidding me? So good. So good. I wish I read them sooner, even though I don't know when they came out. So good. Oh, I have nothing bad to say. I love this book series so far. The second book, better than the first. I'm invested. Murderbot is an incredible character. The characters that we meet are incredible. They're so dynamic. I mean, Martha Wells knows how to write robots. I never thought I'd be so attached to a robot, and for that matter, the character that the human construct sec unit Murderbot interacts with later on. God, they're good. This book was good. I have nothing but rave reviews about it. I can't say anything bad. One little thing, and it's not mainly bad, it's mainly like a critique. Just something that kind of threw me off for like 8 pages. And that was only nothing with the author. That was just, I think it might have been a misprint in the book. Oh my God, my battery's going low. I gotta plug in my PC real quick. Or plug in my laptop there. Yeah, nothing bad. That was the only thing that just kind of made things a bit confusing. And of course, I did not bother to go back and really figure. But I'm pretty sure it was just a misprint. Anyways, those are my first impressions. Just incredible, truly incredible. I read this. I love Murderbot and Lecky, and by the end of the book, that's all I could think about. That's all I could think about. I love Murderbot. That is the absolute truest review. Genuine. I understand how they feel because Murderbot. It's a science fiction, of course, and I've neglected to mention this in the previous review, that it's also a comedy, and it is so well written, so smart, and the comedy just revolves mainly around Murderbot and his character and his inability to process emotions correctly and his interactions with humans and other characters. I'm not a character analysis expert, but Murderbot's character, I love it. All these repressed emotions and just his inability to, like I said, express what he feels sometimes, and just his sheer embarrassment dealing with humans, and his I keep thinking wantonness. Him not wanting to deal with anybody but himself and just revert back into his self, complete his mission, revert back in, and watch movies all day. I love it. I love it. I have nothing. I love it. So if there's anything you take away from it, it's that this is an incredible book series, an incredible science. I mean, it really gets to, the comedy is not obtrusive. That's one of the great. It doesn't this book doesn't go out of its way to make a gag. I mean, it's just very it just flows right in because the comedy's around Murderbot and his character, and some of the side characters and their interactions. It's just, oh, what a great read! I just finished it this morning. I read a lot of it yesterday, and I woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's all I could think about. I need to get this done. I need to so I can make a review while it's fresh in my mind. So I wrote down a ton of notes, mainly just like stuff I laughed out loud at, like I thought was so funny. So, I'm still kind of like just I don't know what you call it, reader. I don't know what that syndrome is. Like after you just read a book and you're just impressed, you're amazed by what you read. You're not love struck, but reading struck. I don't know. All struck maybe. I'm not really sure what the correct verbiage would be here. But so yeah, I mean I'm gonna get into it, of course. So from here on out, I'm gonna talk more about how much I love this book series so far, what I wish it to be. I don't wish it to be anything. I just want to read more. so so I'm gonna get into it. Spoilers from here on out. And I might at the end just wrap up my final thoughts after kind of glossing over this stuff. Starts off exactly where I wanted it to, just like the ending did, just like the last book ended. Starts off a time period I don't know, but pretty much immediately after he's escaped. Murderbot has escaped, and he's on a different world. I think he went through a wormhole and he's on a different world. Yeah, because he gets news feeds of himself with the picture with Dr. Mensa, and he's a shock at first, but so far no one recognizes him, and his portrayal of human. I mean, I could just imagine this slightly. They describe him better, but has slightly. It just he barely fits in. Just imagine the weirdest type of person just walking down, and you would never expect him to be a murder bot, but I imagine he's very stiff and rigid, and his expressions are probably like that of, what's that, assassin, like the shaved head, like just very very focused, well, and kind of I guess recessed because he's always in his mind watching stuff. So he goes to, I guess this would technically be a drama too. I don't know. I don't know, science fiction. He goes to it's like a hair or something there. That is annoying. I don't know what it is. He goes to, he's got a plan. So he's thought of, now that he's free to a point, his governor module, he has his own mind now. He's in control of his mind now. Now that he's free, he kind of wants to figure out the deal with his past. Figure out if he's at fault for murdering those 58 miners, and he's very just, I don't know if he's conflicted, just wants to know what happened so he can continue on and go from there. And so that's where that's kind of like the setup, is he's trying to figure out how to get to this place that where he committed this massacre. He's trying to get there and figure out if he can relive his memories or something. And then so that's when he's trying to figure out how to get there, has a couple options of ships to hack into, and he figures, I think he wants to take like the one that's going first, ends up taking that one because it has new people on it, and gets on this ship, and that's where we pretty much meet our second character. And I need a series about this character. I truly do. I need a series about this ship. Like, I love this ship. I never thought I would love a spaceship. and it's I'm not very like. There's always iconic spaceships out. Like the all I can think of is like Futurama spaceship or the ship in like One Piece and the Going Merry, and like those are like iconic ships to me. I'm not big on like I don't. I'm sure the Star Trek ship to some, and there's all of these, but this ship with its personality, I love it. I love this ship. We need a Murderbot Diaries and an art spaceship diaries. Truly, I will read them. Martha Wells, you have created an absolutely lovable character we need more of, for sure. So, I'll get into it. Okay, yeah, these notes definitely help. He kind of learns that this ship is way more intelligent than he was thinking. He's doing his usual run around hacking and uh, uh, making sure the space, he can trying to bribe the spaceship to let it on, and it does. And then he comes to find out it's like an astronomical analysis, analytical research transport spaceship, and it has to navigate through wormholes, take care of its crew, and do so much multitasking, and can do it instantaneously. And nothing has been, and it's just so adept at doing all these tasks, and it's so smart and honestly full of itself, and it's hilarious. So it kind of just has this overbearing presence in when it attaches to Murderbot's mind and kind of watches it. It's just like this overbearing person, like this mind just watching over his shoulder all the time. So he eventually, I'm not going to get into specifics because I don't quite remember all of them, but just like he bribed the person in the last book, he bribes this bot with media. I've got a whole lot of shows I want to watch, and if you let me on, I'll let you watch them too. So after all this running, all this stuff, he finally, after all this banter, let me just say, there's like the relationship is so organic and forms so organically. I mean, I love it. Murderbot and this spaceship, like, we need more adventures. They make such a good team. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to read the next book. I truly can't. And I think my efficiency capacity is gonna go down once I'm done with the last book. I'm already not looking forward to it. If that says anything. So they start watching movies, and these are just like a couple quotes I wrote down, so I'm going to have to read from my script here, read from my notes. I don't like to. I'd like to look in the camera, but yeah, so I've said everything about, just it's worth reading for the spaceship and Murderbot's dynamic alone. It is just, it's so good. They're just her full of herself. So she's, okay, yeah, so let me try to. So he ends up watching TV with the cargo ship. He's watching a TV. I think they settle on some space wormhole show that kind of has to do with the spaceship. So this ship becomes really intrigued in this show, whereas he and it's kind of all like fake. It seems very fake. So it's, I don't know what I'm saying with that, so I'm just going to move on. But the show is just not very unrealistic, so it's kind of an escape from reality. So in this show, a minor character died, and it was tough. The ship had a hard time dealing with it. The 20th episode, a major character died, and I paused for 7 minutes while the ship did the equivalent of staring at a wall. I love it. I can just see it, like I could just see this ship just. I could just see the ship sulking. I love it. It's the funniest thing. The mental image I get, I laughed. I laughed out loud. Like I had to go back and reread it because just these little one-liners, these little paragraphs. So I paused for 7 while it stared at the wall. Then 4 eps later, the major character was revived, and we had to watch that episode 3 times. There's so much character development just here, right here. I mean, there was a lot before, but right here, I mean, even too. Then we watched the climax of the ship where the ship and the crew is hurt, and had to take 10 minutes, 10 minutes after that, and then had to take 10 minutes pause, and then after the show was done, it kind of like solemnly said, again, please. Like, that was so intense. I need to rewatch it again, please. It's just after I just sat there and thought about it. Like, we all get that. We get, you watch a show that's fantastic, and it's just, I'm ready to watch it again. I'm ready to relive the emotions again. And you got this galactic spaceship thinking the same thing. I love it. So then they started from episode 1, and I think they were in this time cycles. There were so many cycles passing. I don't really understand the time, but for what I understood, they were in there for a while. The ship eventually brought up like there's no show, and I love this quote or this idea. There's no real shows. Talking to Murderbot, there's no real shows about sec units, and so Murderbot goes on to explain, well, sec units are pretty much just portrayed as murderous, evil beings, and without humanity, there's no real point. And it would be utterly boring to have a sec unit as a character, and let alone be in the point of view of one. They just what are they gonna do? You can just watch a show about a Murderbot and him doing his action sequences and then going just staring blankly for 20 minutes. Is that what you like? That's not interesting, is what Murderbot's saying. Why you're not going to want to watch a character act embarrassed in front of another human and just be awkward. And the irony is palpable. Are you like Murderbot? You're being too humble, because you're an absolutely incredible character to follow. Truly, the irony. So, for whatever reason, I wrote after that, I love the ship. I love the ship. They get kind of into a feud, I guess, about different things, and it's to the point there's just like murder. Like, the ship is so inquisitive and so full of knowledge and full of and arrogant and just matter of fact that they get like Murderbot doesn't want to hear anything. He doesn't want to hear it. He just wants to retreat into himself. He just doesn't want to hear it. So he just comes up with all these excuses to try to get out of it, and eventually he shuts himself down for like 4 hours, wakes up, and the ship is like, well, that was really childish. He has nowhere to go. He knew it was childish. And then he's like, well, how do you know it's childish? You don't know what children are like. And the ship's like, yes, I do know what the children are like. I mean, all I ask is that if there's anybody out there who actually watches these videos and gets to this point, I'm 20 minutes in, and I'm not even halfway through my notes. Just read the book, comment, and tell me what you think, because they're so good. That's all I can say. So after he shut down, another great little part was they were in a feud, and during this feud he thought of 27 ways to render the ship inoperable and 3 ways to blow it up. those 3 ways were last minute because he also didn't want to blow himself up. But he was at the point where he has thought of everything to just get out of this situation. The ship, I think he posed a question, and the ship had to sit there and think for 10 precious seconds. Just any time without the ship talking is just a moment of peace. The relationship. So then we finally get. I love it. I love this. True, like Murderbot calls this ship the A-hole research transport. It says the word, but A-hole research transport. From then on, this ship is known as Art. This the whole time. He never, like, that's, God, I love Art. I love it. I almost want to reread this book. The initial book was set up, and you got to learn more about Murderbot. But now that we know what Murderbot's like, and then the ship, the Art, I'm gushing. I cannot state it enough. So the ship and are discussing terms on how to get to this planet or moon where Murderbot may have done something where he did his massacre, and they're talking about ways of getting there. And of course the ship knows, you're a sec unit, there's other sec units there, people are gonna notice you need to do something. And he's like, look, I've practiced my walk. And he's looking through the cameras, and yeah, he's definitely not he's not anywhere near human. So he concedes and goes under surgery. Well, they're talking about what they want to do, what needs to be done. And so Art's like, you need to, humans, I have analyzed humans, and they have little bits of hair all over the place, not just their head, but the head. And Murderbot, no effing way am I growing hair. Just no. And then they mention, humans also have sex organs, and I think you should get some. No, thank you. No. Like no ship. I am no. No. No, it ain't gonna happen. I love it. So he wakes up from surgery, and then at that point, he's feeling like absolute pain, sees himself gushing blood in certain areas, and then he's just thinking, I wish I went with plan 16 to render Art inoperable. Just still this grunt, just still. Okay. Oh God. I'm gonna make this video 15 minutes long. The Art is going to help. So then they need to learn how to be human. So it's Murderbot's thinking to himself, great, I'm gonna have this giant transport ship, who's a bot AI, teach me and myself, a human construct, are gonna try to learn how to be human. This is gonna work out real well. And so I guess they learn. That's kind of glossed over. They learn how to do that. This is where I started to look. It was like 65 through 67. I started to see this misprint. 150 pages in, and I'm only halfway through the book. If that tells you anything. It started like, I wanted to underline stuff so bad so I could easily find it. Oh wait, 65 through 67, and but I didn't do that, so now I'm gonna have to take a minute to find what I'm looking for here. It's like every time, I'd be curious to know if it's. Oh yeah, okay. So every time. For a while there, for whatever reason, I see the one. there was a typo where it said, "Oh, you God, that's that. Why am I even bothering to?" So T explained, and then there was a TER terror, and that's what I was trying to find, but I can't find it because I didn't underline it. So, um, this whole like chapter was riddled with it. And for whatever, I thought maybe it was like dialect. I thought maybe I missed a whole character name here being T. Yeah, here it is right here. T sat back in tear chair, and it kind of took me out for a little bit for a couple of because I kept having to. Did I miss a character here or what tear is that their dialect? No, because I don't understand. Um. So then of course so with that I yeah, I didn't quite skip ahead, but so with that, at this point in the book, Murderbot is Art has come up with a plan to get him on this moon, without raising suspicion. So he's going to contract as a, he's going to look for a job to get hired on to go to this moon, and he comes up with this like three little kids, and they want to meet, and I just Murderbot, okay, he's gonna meet, and he's disabling cameras here, disabling cameras, deleting the feed, looking at himself walking as he's doing all this stuff, and Murderbot's a boss. Are you kidding me? So he meets up with these kids, um, and just does a heck of a job. And I'm like, the Murderbot's a boss. Like, I love this character. Um, so skip forward some. No, no. Oh my gosh, this is the problem. I'm having terrible handwriting. I'm not gonna even say that. Knowledge base and opinions. Arch. Oh, okay. Calm. So, Murderbot goes to. They get on a shuttle, or whatever, or they're getting ready to get on a shuttle to go meet up with the details of this shit. Like, he's met up with these people. They tell him, we want to get information back from somebody. They said that we can meet up with them. We hired you as a bodyguard to meet up with them. So let's go. So he's, telling them this just sounds like a great idea if you wanted to get murdered. Very callous, just to the point there. They I can't remember, at one point they like tapped the table and yeah, you're right, and that is just it alarmed him. Like, what is this? What are you doing here? I'm not understanding this expression here. But then he said, he looked human enough, so he had his knapsack and calm, which would allow him, Murderbot, to have access to Art's knowledge base and unsolicited opinions. I love it. Art's freedom to weigh in on everything, and then was unsolicited opinions. So Art is very vocal. Later on down the line, I guess something happens, and Art's freedom. I can't remember. I didn't write the page number. Art's freedom to weigh in on everything was punishment enough. It's just the banter. Like, he just cannot. Murderbot. I mean, just it has a heart. It's just someone who just is annoying to a Murderbot. I mean, the ship is just annoying, extremely smart but annoying with their views. So they do the thing. Murderbot just says one thing, absolutely means another. Tells the kids, I'm not mad. I'm not mad, he says, and then he said, but I'm furious. In his mind, I was furious. He's just, I love it. Looking out for the kids, doesn't want them to know they're mad, even though he's fuming. So skip ahead. The the details of he meets this person. Action ensues. They had to go back. A bunch of action ensues. They end up going back to a hotel, and the couple of kids leave. He sends them off. One leaves, but or wait, yes, stays because she has a plan or something. Whatever. But um, he ends up having to stay in a hotel with her, and I love it. He says, um, so he has to still pretend to be human. Like he doesn't want anyone to know he's a sec unit, and having to pretend to go to the bathroom would be the cap to all the fun I was having today. And I thought that was just such a fun little moment because he's just, he's done a whole lot of killing people and just absolutely been in a firefight, and now he has to just do these little annoyances as I don't want to raise suspicion. I've got to pretend I had to schedule a time to get up, go into the bathroom, stand there for a minute, and come back out. And then I think really, no, they were namely always evasive. And it's just, I think all I said was just art. The one of the girls said, my mom said or something that you should embrace fear and learn to enjoy it or something. And Art's hearing this, and all Art says is, "What?" That makes no sense. That's the stupidest. Like, she doesn't say that part, but she just says, "What?" That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I love it. So, lo and behold, I mean, okay, now that I'm done with my notes, I don't have to like focus on little things. Lo and behold, you find out some, our Murderbot finds out information about himself that leads to him making a decision later on down the road, and we find out that it wasn't entirely all his fault like he thought it was. Stuff happened. It was kind of a little bit of foreshadow during like the train scene, the shuttle scene or whatever, but it wasn't all his fault. So now he's going to take the next step, and he departs the kid. He gets them back safely after taking care of their problem, which ended up being a real problem. Taking care of them, gets back to the ship. The ship has to leave. The kids are going their own way. Murderbot goes his way once again. And I'll leave. The ship says, "Here's a comm, just in case I ever pass by close enough, we can chat again." I'm reliving the moment. I'm reliving that moment. The ending of that book. I'm reliving it. I could cry. I hope we see Art again. I really might tear up. I really might. Art, you will be missed. You are just such a good character. But I love the episodic feel to this. Now I imagine it's going to continue on after this, and Murderbot's going to meet new characters and learn more about himself, and maybe we're really going to figure out what is going on. Like, what's his real plan here? Murderbot's real plan here to, like, 2 books left, but I love these little these little moments in time of what, these little adventures that he's doing, meeting new people and leaving them and going elsewhere, like it would actually happen in real life. I just wish he kept some of the friends along the way, and he got a ship now, and I just it's final moments, comeback. That was my comeback. I mean, that was my comeback sign. Final thoughts. I've already said it. You heard it the first couple minutes, 5 minutes into the video. This book was incredible. Truly incredible. I loved it. Everyone should read this book. I mean, they might not enjoy it as much as I did, but I loved it. Art was just, I love the sass, the I know everything. Murderbot just not wanting to deal with it. him trying to pretend to be human, learning information about him, and then yeah, the ending. I and on so you know, should I say like and subscribe and leave a comment if you also enjoyed it? No, I'm not going to. Um, yeah, let me. I mean, if you have your thought, let me know because I'm in this series. I'm continuing on, and I duly recommend it. Duly, truly recommend it. Read the book. They're short, 150 pages. Might change your life. You might find a new character to really latch on to. Someone that you're gonna think about forever here on after here from forever from here on. Okay, well that's the video. It's long enough. Till next time.